So after that heartbreaking, game-winning three-point shot by Furkan Korkmaz of the Philadelphia 76ers, there was something on Twitter that caught my eye. Also, I'm glad I don't do highlights anymore because I probably would have included a highlight of Korkmaz hitting that three, and I don't want to trigger any painful flashbacks for Blazers fans, and you can thank me for that by leaving a thumbs up on this video. No, I'm just kidding, but actually do leave a thumbs up, it helped me out a lot. Back to that Twitter thing. Anthony Tolliver basically said that the Blazers were not trying to switch on their last defensive possession where they gave up that Korkmaz 3. Now, the Philadelphia 76ers were inbounding the ball with 2 seconds left, and pretty much any coach at any level would tell you, you switch all screens in that situation. You just need to be there on the catch, and the easiest way to stay attached to a guy is to switch screens so you don't have to fight through them. That way, everybody can have one assignment and be close up on them. If they catch the ball, then that's going to be a very tough contested shot, and you should have a pretty good chance for winning that game. The offense doesn't have time to punish the mismatch since they only have 2 seconds, and I've watched a lot of NBA basketball. Pretty much any coach would switch in that situation. They'd have a switchable lineup out there and they'd switch all screens. Now, when you watch that Korkmaz 3, it's pretty obvious the Blazers were not trying to switch screens. Anthony Tolliver took some heat on Twitter for not switching onto Korkmaz. One fan said, "This is the most obvious switch, Anthony Tolliver," and Tolliver responded by saying, "That wasn't the game plan, dude." So here we are, where one person messed up. It's either Anthony Tolliver or Terry Stotts. Either Terry Stotts told the team to switch everything and Anthony Tolliver didn't get the memo and didn't switch out and that gave up that Korkmaz 3, or Anthony Tolliver was doing what he was told, which was to not switch screens, which obviously was a mistake. Korkmaz got wide open off a simple screen by Al Horford, and if Tolliver is right and switching wasn't the defensive game plan going into that final possession, then that is an absolutely monumental mistake by Terry Stotts. So it all comes down to, do you believe Anthony Tolliver when he responded saying that switching wasn't the game plan? Now, I honestly believe Tolliver because I don't believe Tolliver would have tweeted something like this out if he ended up just making a mistake and not switching when he was supposed to. And honestly, if the coaching staff told Tolliver to switch, I think that is one of the last guys that would make the mistake of not switching. This guy's a 34-year-old longtime vet in the NBA, and this is a pretty obvious situation where you end up switching screens. Tolliver also seemed to have a bit of frustration behind that tweet, and I think that frustration might come from him being unfairly blamed for staying home on his guy when that is simply what he was told to do. Now later on, he said that Stotts wasn't the problem because Stotts is awesome, but I don't expect Tolliver to throw Terry Stotts under the bus and lose his playing time for it. The last thing Tolliver is going to do is going to be publicly blaming Terry Stotts. But for the reasons I just stated, I do believe that Terry Stotts told them to not switch. And I do believe Anthony Tolliver with that initial tweet saying that it wasn't the game plan. I also think that Tolliver might have had some frustration with Terry Stotts for not switching on defense because it was the obvious play. But again, he's not going to throw Terry under the bus. Now, during Stotts' post-game press conference, it would have been a great idea for at least one media member to ask, were you trying to switch on that final possession or not? Yet, for whatever reason, Stotts did not get asked that question, so we don't know Stotts' side of the story. So that's where I come to you guys, my audience. Do you believe Anthony Tolliver, and do you believe the Blazers weren't trying to switch going into that final possession? It's pretty mind-boggling for a coaching staff to not have the defense switching on a final defensive possession like that. Or do you believe Tolliver made a mistake and maybe didn't know what the game plan was, and that's why he might have said that wasn't the game plan even though Stotts wanted them to switch? I just thought this was an interesting situation, and that was an interesting tweet to see from Tolliver, so I want to hear what you guys think about this situation. So anyway, that wraps up this video. This has been Tori. I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Go Blazers.